What's up, fight fans? This is Counterpunched with Counterpunched Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Joe, the Juggernaut, Joyce. Joyce eyes April return, and he wants an Usyk clash, then Fury Joshua winner. The Olympic silver medal winner, Joyce, has placed a target on the back of Oleksandr Usyk. But he doesn't plan to wait around forever for the contest to take place, according to the British boxer's manager, Sam Jones. Joyce and Usyk are the two biggest ranked contenders under the World Boxing Organization. Usyk is the mandatory challenger, while Joyce secured the number 2 ranking last year when he knocked out Daniel Dubois for the EBU British and Commonwealth titles. The two boxers could potentially get ordered to face each other if current world champion Anthony Joshua decides to vacate the belt. Joshua has to make a mandatory defense against Usyk, but he may be forced to drop the title in order to move forward with high-stake unification clash with the WBC world champion Tyson Fury. According to Jones, his boxer is planning to fight on a date in April, and he's more than willing to face Usyk next, even if the interim WBO title is at stake or the sanctioning body orders them to collide in a final eliminator. The next couple weeks, says Jones, he says the next couple weeks because Joe wants to fight in April, which is only 10 or 11 weeks away, Jones told Sky Sports. Joe will fight in April. We won't stall his career. If it's a different opponent, then it's a different opponent, unless the WBO orders Joe and Usyk to have a final eliminator. It is all dependent on the Joshua Fury situation. We have made it clear to Frank Warren, Joe's promoter, that we want to fight Usyk, even if it's an interim title fight. Now, let me counterpunch and let me start close to the end, okay? It's all dependent on the Joshua Fury situation. Understand this. The Joshua Fury situation is dependent on other factors. One is Usyk, the other one is Wilder. So we have to see how that pans out before Joyce speaks on fighting the winner out of those two. For one, we don't even know if they're going to fight or not. You know, because Usyk may very well fight Joshua. And you think Usyk would want to fight Joshua or somebody he already beat, Joyce. Okay, I know that was an amateur bout, but it was no headgear. I know it was a while back. Joyce has learned from then. He's grown from then. Oleksandr Usyk is still dangerous, but he still beat him, and he still boxed circles around a bigger guy. Okay, so to anyone that listens, Usyk is not too small for these heavyweights. I don't believe that. I think he's showing his own, it's just he's a smaller guy than that. Doesn't mean he'll get overpowered by these big guys, you know what I mean? He might get hurt and stopped, but just overpowered, no. I think Joyce has a very good future, a very bright future. I picked him to beat Daniel Dubois, but understand where Daniel Dubois was. Daniel Dubois was a guy that would have 14 fights. Not saying that Joyce had more than him. Joyce has just been around longer. And I think there's levels to this. I think if he wants Usyk, it's a fast start. I understand Joyce is 35. So he doesn't have a whole lot of time to mess around. But at the same time, I think he needs to do a lot better than beating someone like Daniel Dubois. Go in there and fight Ortiz. You remember when he called out Luis Ortiz a couple years ago, and Ortiz obliged him, and Abel Sanchez was like, no. And obviously Joyce was like, okay, right? Because, that was too much for him at the time. So, why not get that fight? Why not take that fight? Get a fight that way. Instead of wanting to fight Usyk, and Usyk's tumbled up and messed up in this circle of confusion, along with Joshua, along with Fury, and along with Wilder. Those guys have weird connections together. It sounds good. Am I against a fight with Usyk and Joyce? No, because I know Joyce wants his revenge. If he can get it, he wants to try for it. So I get it. I get what he's saying, but at the end of the day, it's a lot of factors that deal with the heavyweight division, and that's just one of the things that he's going to have to wait for. So he's waiting for two guys that's waiting for two other guys, and that could always bring trouble. It's like traffic. You know what I mean? You're hitting your horn at the guy in front of you, but it's two guys ahead of him that's stopped and at a standstill. So you have to see above those guys. But I like how Sam Jones, I like how he said he won't wait if it's another opponent. I like that because keep this fighter fighting, keep this fighter winning, keep this fighter experienced. Fighting better opposition. Put him in there with Ortiz. Let's see that fight. Let's see how he does with someone like that. Why not? If we can't get a Dillian White Ortiz, let's get a Joyce Ortiz. Counterpunch. But it does seem good. And everybody, of course, is going to want the winner out of AJ and Fury, so that's natural. But will that happen? Who knows? You guys tell me what you think of Joyce wanting the Usyk rematch. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunched. Peace.